How is everybody doing today? I am getting a notification that I need to be putting on Crab Rave, so I guess we'll do that. How is everybody doing today? We are going to be continuing our discussion about the E3D REVO, okay? Apparently that video was met with a little bit of controversy. I am laughing because the thumbnails we take like multiple times in advance. Yes, there is no cat. Let me put the stunt double in. There you go. And I'm wearing the same shirt that I'm wearing in the thumbnail of that video, which is kind of hilarious to me. But yeah, a lot of dislikes on that video. So I had planned this ahead of time, like, hey, let's keep talking about it, because YouTube videos can only be so long before people stop watching, and our watch rate goes through the toilet. But we can live stream and we can talk about it all we damn well want, because this is America and we can do this. Although I'm in America, I know some of you aren't, but yeah. Anyways, let's. Can you make a fast resume of? Okay, Albarello wants me to talk about the products. The product is E3D's brand new Hotend system. It replaces the V6. This is part of an E3D V6. I will show it to you. Give me just a second to switch over to Small Grant. There you go. And this is the new Hotend system. So yeah, there it is versus the old version. The old version required you to hold the heat brake or the heat block while you were changing nozzles. This one-handed nozzle change, which is yeah, pretty great. Tarzan013 says, sir, you are now a social media influencer. You can only wear a set of clothes at once. Had I known you were going to comment something like that, I would have like worn another shirt and just like instantly taken off my shirt, and that would have been hilarious. But I am not wearing a shirt under this, and it's not that kind of chat. If you want those kind of weird chats, join our Patreon. I'm going to be doing more live streams directly for Patreon. So if you guys want to learn more about that, we're going to be streaming directly in our Discord more often. So if you want to come hang out there, you got to go join the Patreon to get access to that. But I try not to have too many CTAs in the live streams. But yeah, it is a brand new Hotend that looks to solve a lot of the problems that a lot of us had with the previous system, right? A lot of us didn't like it. And now that Crab Rave is over, we're gonna go to something different. And I like it. I kind of dig the Revo. Taking out shirts, getting an OnlyFans. Not yet. Not yet. Who knows? Maybe we'll get there if you all... I'm jealous, Jimmy, living in Sweden. But yeah, there are your differences, Albarello. We've got the brand new Revo 6 and the Revo Micro, which is really what they're pushing. They're going to be pushing the Revo Micro over the Revo 6. But somebody in the last video, let me get their name, Flyin' Goat, Flyin, Flyin' Goat, pointed out that a company has had an incredibly similar design for quite some time. That includes a nozzle with built-in heat brake, and yeah, I can't disagree with this. I cannot disagree that this does not look very similar to what E3D has done. Now, there are some differences, so I'm not saying that E3D stole anything here. This is not, like, I don't believe the ceramic heater as a cylinder is a patentable thing. And hilariously, Proto Print is using an E3D nozzle. They're just added a heat brake to it. Now, I am curious to see, and I'm going to reach out to them to get a sample of this so we can actually put them side by side. But how this heat brake is held into the heat sink. And yes, the water cooled is good to 500C. E3D has the Titan Aqua that does the same thing. So let's go to extruders and hot ends. Really, E3D, you're not going to let me middle mouse click to open up a new tab? Good lord. Yeah, their Titan Aqua is their high temp thing. So it can reach comfortably 285C with a supplied thermistor. And you can go to a PT100 thermocouple and you can reach 500C. So if you're printing peak, PEC, freaking Ultem, or you really want to do a fully enclosed printer, this is a great solution for you where you have an active heated chamber, because at a certain temperature, shit just ain't gonna work anymore. By the way, if you like hearing me cuss, and clearly you know that we, remove all that, we do put uncensored videos out to Patreon. So these are live streams. It's just us girls. I'm gonna be a little more vulgar on it because that's just kind of how I am. But I am curious to see how in this particular hot end in the Raptor that they secure the heat break into the heat sink. The heat sinks looks incredibly similar, but it's because E3D started the idea of having the groove mount. Yeah, this is a clone E3D. I did not realize it when I bought it, but this is a clone E3D V6. It heat sink and the heat break is just screwed in here. It's an open source design. Jimmy is asking me, what do I think of the small fan? And hilariously, I talked about it in the original cut of this video. However, it did not make it through the the chopping room floor. Oh, that's a part that we're doing for a client. Let me fix that real quick. We have a client that had a double mastectomy. I guess I need to explain that one now that I misclicked. But we had a client that had a double mastectomy, and we are making prosthetics for her. So there you go. Fun little look at what we do as a business for some people. I am really, really, really worried, like really worried about this fan. I mentioned it in that initial cut, but I'm worried about it because when you deal with these really tiny fans, they either sound like blowimatrons and it's just like, you know, cooler fan go brrr, or they produce virtually no airflow. I mean, clearly E3D doesn't have that problem. But over time, especially in a printer like a Voron, where it's going to move very fast, I'm worried that if these are not well-made fans, like, I wish it was a Noctua fan. I know a lot of people are kind of anti-Noctua in this industry. I happen to like Noctua. I like their fans, but I don't have a lot of faith in these fans from E3D, to be quite honest with you. All of the E3D fans that I have on all of my E3D hot ends, Bowden, Direct Drive, Titans, V6s, I always end up replacing them because they just don't last. But ultimately, that's not what E3D is here to do for you, right? They make really nice hot ends. You want a really nice fan, go buy it from somebody else. I do believe there's going to be an issue with them. What? I don't know. Jimmy says anti-Noctua, no static pressure, no flow. Static pressure is great when you have to blow air across something very, very, very close to you. But optimize airflow. I mean, the Titan Aero, of course, my Titan Aero in my file cabinet, it runs a Noctua, but it runs a 20mm thick Noctua instead of a 10mm. So, I mean, I could just hit this with so much flow that the static pressure is just inconsequential at that point. But the stock fan on this broke 4 different times. I bought 4 stock fans from E3D. I bought 1 Noctua fan, and it works flawlessly to this day. Get that out of here. But yeah, I don't mind it. I am, of course, concerned, right? Because the original fan was pretty tiny. Where's that side-by-side to show me them? Okay. The original fan was pretty tiny. This is even tinier. So, somebody is calling me. Well, that sucks. They're calling my direct cell phone, so at least I know that's going on. I will call them back. But, yeah, this... I don't know, guys. Jimmy, it's a good point, and I am a little concerned about that. But what I do want to talk about more is this Raptor, because the Raptor's been around apparently for a minute and a half here. And God, I look at this and say this is incredibly similar, and I'm a little, I don't know. I like the ceramic style heater, but I mentioned it in the video. I have some reservations about this, especially if they're going to use the same connectors that are keyed the same way. But yeah, Albarello, he says that he knows Noctua from the PC world, the best of the best. It is the only brand that I use. Same. I actually have a quad of Noctua Redux, NF12 Reduxes or something like that in this computer, and a Noctua ND14H or NHD14, which was the best cooler on the market, air cooler, back when this computer was built in 2014. And the fact that it still works to this day, sometimes, which that has nothing to do with the fans or anything like that, is, to me, part and parcel of the credit to Noctua's history. All the Prusas we have run Noctua fans, the Minis, the MK3Ss all run Noctua fans. I've had no problems with it. I know if you do enclose your printers, the Noctua is not strong enough, but it's not designed to be, right? So, I digress. I am curious to see, but we are seeing something here on the side profile. There are no screws anymore. This is now a clip system, which I am so happy about because I absolutely hate it. Let me get my box of E3D parts, because like any 3D printer geek, I've got a big bin of parts. So let me grab a fan duct and a fan. This is your standard V6 fan duct. This is, what we've been used to. And it utilizes these are just generic fans. I bought these fans generic, but this is a legit fan duct from an E3D. And I gotta screw them in, and the screws really suck because the plastic parts are not threaded. And so going over to a clip style fan, considerably happier to see that personally. Jimmy says, Sunyon makes great fans for 3D printing. Good flow, good bearings, or maglev. Low dB and good static pressure. I totally agree with you. I am of the opinion, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. All of my machines don't have any issues with the fans yet, but when they do, I will likely look at going over to a Sunyon, and it might be interesting to do a video on that. That would be kind of a cool video to do a comparison between the Sunyon and the Noctua. So Jimmy, you're a patron, and Maker Viking, not a patron? I don't think a patron, but still cool. If you guys want to see that video, let me know. I can get some Sunyon fans, I can get some Noctua fans, and we will put them together. Hey Viking, how you doing? How is life? I hope life is good for you, sir. Maker Viking just went through a fun issue of his AIO failing on him and leaking, so that was fun. Jimmy says fan video. So Jimmy, you are in our Discord. Ping me with the fans you want us to test, and I'll just buy some and do that. And no, Tarzman, we're not going to do that type of fan test video, but we will do a fan test video. This lets me buy a smoke machine for reasons. Or I'll just go to the local car meet and find a Subaru person, and they can just use their sick sweet vape to do some testing for us. Anyways, the one thing that I've been curious about, and I want to know what you guys think in the comments, this spring system, and we can see that in the video here. Actually, I've got it open over here. The spring. What do you guys think about this spring? The spring, from what I can tell, clips into the heat sink as well as the heater. Effectively, that means when you take out the nozzle, you take the whole thing apart, your heater and thermistor don't just fall out and start swinging like Miley Cyrus on a wrecking ball, which would have been a phenomenal reference to make in the video now that I'm thinking about that, and I'm a little bummed at myself for not making that reference. But, yeah, you guys let me know. I am curious to what you think. Also, apparently, is this music really loud to the stream? Let's see if that helps it. I like the idea of the spring. I think it kind of solves the problem. The spring being as small as it is should not transfer a lot of thermal mass into the heat sink, but it's a heat sink. It's kind of like what it's designed for. I am curious to see how it handles high temp, but we're not seeing anything on here about the Revo being able to handle high temp just yet. We're seeing, you know, max of 300C out of the box. So I will be curious to see if they do a high temp one. Now, that's my guess that one of these is going to be a liquid cooled Revo. And taking a look at what Raptor has done, I have a feeling we're going to see something similar where it is just a water block over the heat sink itself. But yeah, I agree that the spring has value. I don't know how it's attached, and that worries me ever so slightly. Like, it appears... Let me go into full screen to see if we can see this closer. Yeah, it appears that it just clips onto here. So there looks like to be a little groove cut right there. And with that, I'm looking at it saying, okay, you clip in there. So it's not impossible to separate the two, which is good. But I want to know how it clips onto the heatsink, because that, from what I can see, is not obvious. Let's open this image in a new tab. I can't zoom in. Let's cheat and zoom in. We're going to use the Google Chrome Enhance feature. There might, yeah, it looks like there might be a bit of a groove. So it's just clipping into the groove, which is good. That means you can replace the spring. I like that it basically guarantees a length. I know a lot of people had problems on the V6 with over-tightening the heat block onto the heat sink and having the heat block touch the heat sink, effectively removing the value of the heat sink because it's just you're gonna add thermal mass to it, and then your nozzle would stick out too far. So good value there, right? They're removing, to me, a lot of the problems that we see. Now, I got hands on... I'm not going to say that. I don't want to incriminate anybody, but I am concerned about the thickness of this throat. I believe they have fixed it, but I am curious if this is a dual metal, like a steel and brass, and this is now a steel or even titanium heat break, or if it's just one large piece of milled brass. Now, looking at it, it looks silver. It does not look brass. Where's Michael Petch's video of... Of course, Twitter needs to reload because it's Twitter. Let me see Michael Petch's video of taking out the nozzle again. I want to see if we're able to see it. Oh, Joe Spanier's here. If you guys like really cool stuff, go check out Joe Spanier's channel. He's pretty awesome. It is dual metal. Okay, so that kind of solves that question for me. Because we know E3D is coming out with that Obsidian nozzle, which is dual metal as well. The copper and hardened steel insert. Okay, dual metal makes sense. Galvanic corrosion, question mark. Hopefully they have done something to mitigate that, but Joe, you're in the beta program, aren't you? Beta testers can tell you that they're in the beta program. I think. Maybe. He says. Okay. E3D LC. Yes. All right. Awesome. Cool. Joe, were you aware of the Raptor hotend? Because I wasn't until Flying Goat in the main video pointed this out to me. This is pretty damn similar. How do you feel about this? I did not know about Protoprint. I did not know about the Raptor until it was brought to my attention. But there's a lot of things going there. Okay, so you feel somewhat similar than I do. I didn't know that this company even existed. So, okay, at least I don't feel bad. Because you look at it and you're like, huh, this looks a lot like a Revo 6. Huh. This looks kind of similar to their nozzle design. Huh. It's bimetal. Huh. That's a lot of things that E3D just did. Huh. Although their water-cooled hotend is pretty dope. Ah, damn it, somebody's calling the company. Scam likely. Sweet. Awesome. Get rid of that call. Okay. Cool. So Joe didn't know about it either. This is good. Joe is one of those people I look at and say, all right, you are You're like my oh, stop it, phone. Stop it. You're like that acid test for me. Cool. I didn't know about this either. The bimetal is quite different. Yes, I absolutely agree. I don't know how the Revo is done. I'm assuming it's a sleeve that goes all the way in, but it might not be. I really need to get one of these in hand. I am unfortunately not a part of their program, so I am unable to get one in hand at the moment. And oh yeah, thank you all for joining us. If you don't mind, leave a like on the stream. That helps us out greatly as it increases, interactions and such. The bimetal is quite different. I agree. So Joe says it is not a sleeve all the way through. Joe, are you able to talk on this, or is there still a moratorium on all of this? I figured as soon as it came out, you guys could talk about it, but maybe not. I am a little... if Raptor has some patents, which I mean, they might here. They might have something to say, but... Okay, alright. It appears to be an NDA item still. Alright, well, it is what it is, man. Hey, look, I appreciate you dropping in at least and hanging out. I am curious about the PTC. That's like one of the features on this that I really, really like. And how it will compare to a cartridge-style heater. So again, I want to get my hands on one so I can deliberately throw it in a thermal runaway and basically use my own K-type thermocouple and measure what kind of heat we're getting out of it before a printer triggers thermal runaway. How's it going? Oh man, the name, I know they've told me how to say it. Hino. I'm gonna say Hino. I'm gonna say, I could be wrong. I'm gonna go with it. I always forget. But how you doing? But yeah, I am interested in this PTC because, curiously, did you see my video on the heat up? No, apparently I'm a really bad friend. Let's go to Joe Spanier's channel, and because I can do these things, let's just put it on the screen now. Am I gonna spell his name right in front of him? I don't know. Let's find out. Am I gonna spell his S-P-A-N? Yeah, I am. No, S-P-A-N-I-E-R. Yep. Oh, it's on Twitter. Okay, fine. Alright, fine. I'll get it. There we go. Let's see your heat up video.
5 seconds was an exaggeration.
Alright, give me just a second. Let me get this set up. Let me pause the music so I can turn Joe up for you guys. Because I want you all to see this. So let's watch this together.
So 5 seconds was an exaggeration.
Holy crap, that's fast. The number is right here in red. Dang, that thing is going fast. 4C every tick, effectively, which I think on the tool changer and on a duet is what? Half a second? Something like that? Dang. Wow. Yeah, I mean, you're talking 50 seconds or so to get to 255. Yeah, that's awesome.
There you go. Print tip.
That's awesome. Now, somebody mentioned, and I thought it was a pretty good thought. What is going to be the implication of it being a drop-in? Because ultimately, you're going to have to, potentially adjust your PID settings. So they've clearly designed one to be a drop-in replacement for a V6. The Revo 6 is clearly a drop-in. But can I just literally take the V6 out of my Prusa, drop in a Revo 6, make no other changes, and send it, because that to me is what is going to help it really gain a stronghold in this industry. But yeah, that was on the V6 PIDs. Holy crap, from a 30-watt heater. Okay. Shit. All right. I mean, that ain't bad. That's actually pretty damn good. That's amazing, Joe. What are your thoughts on this whole nozzle? I love this one-stop shop. But I am a little worried as to the replacement cost. So my, recording live video math said about $15 a nozzle, but it's really $13.75 a nozzle if we assume the hot end's going to cost about $65. At $15 a nozzle, I don't have a problem with this, but I don't believe that E3D can sell these nozzles at $15 and make money. I just don't see it happening. So I'll be curious to see what replacement parts will run at. Jimmy says you should still do a PID tune even if it works acceptably. That is true, especially if you're going up from a 30 to a 40-watt heater. But I think it's good to note that theoretically you can just drop it in with little effort needed. Okay, so the expectation is about $15. That's not bad then. I'm pretty proud of that. Pretty proud of that. Cool. Huh. Now, Michael Petch showed off the patents. So there are 2 patents right now. Let's see if we can find them, because I want to read them. Intellectual Property Office in the UK. Let's look for their, I want to do, yes, accept the cookies, I don't care. Let's look up E3D and see if that will come up with anything, because I don't know if this is going to do a search. No, it won't. Patents. Search for a patent. No, I want to just be able to search. Where did you go for this, Mr. Petch? Searchable Patents Journal. Okay, cool. Let's do that. Searchable Patents Journal. See, this is great. I love this. So let's look up E3D. What? Excuse me? I literally looked at the exact same thing. Oh. Ha. It's looking at it for today. Let's look at it for the last year. No records found. What? This is exactly what he did, is it not? September 20th, or September 2020 through the 21st. Huh. I did after, didn't seem to change things, but the PIDs changed significantly. Yeah, that's kind of what it's all about. PID tuning assists in that on-off time. It likely won't affect how fast it heats up, but it will affect as it starts to dwell, and what that dwell time looks like, and how everything works there. So, apparently Michael Petch found it, but I don't. I don't see it. Huh. Okay. I have to look. E3D Agricultural Cooperative? That's not the same company, is it? No. It's from June of 2021, so why am I not finding it on the same website? Oh, there we go. Okay, so we just randomly find it again. Are you going to let me view them? No. They have a liquefier assembly, and they did patent their nozzle. Okay, so their nozzle's patented. Wow, the UK is fast for patents. It was, all right, let's see if we can search this application number, because I do, nope. I want to be able to see them. I want to be able to see the actual patents and what's in them, but the UK may not let us see that. Let's see. See, here in the States, when you do a patent, you can easily search for it. I wonder if I search for... Is this only... Search and read full text patents from around the world. All right, let's go to the UK. Hello? Oh, it's not in alphabetical order. Ha! Yeah, I wish it was. Why are you not making this easy on me, Google? There's HK. Is the United Kingdom not... Am I an idiot? GB, Great Britain. That's what it is. Jeez. E3D. Okay. No, that's from E3 Agricultural Cooperative. This is their patent from the old one, but this is fine. We can see they're filed under Sanjay's name, so let's pull this up. I can go to Sanjay Mortimer. That is the only patent under Sanjay's name. Okay. Dang. I thought we were going to be able to find it, but yeah, this is the V6. So. Hilariously, because they are not defending... Or, no, this is the V... Is this V5 or V6? It looks like the V6. Yeah, I think it's a V6. Lawlenster says you can't see the patent until it's granted. It appears that it has been granted. Maybe not. There's this one over here. Okay, alright. Yeah, okay, so status is not granted yet. Alright, so that could be it. Lawlenster says it may not have been granted. Well, they've got patents in. I'd love to know what they are, just so I can kind of get an idea. Because, like, I love the idea of patenting and their whole commitment to it. However, I want to see what they're patenting. Okay, SA says it is a pending patent. There you go. All right, perfect. Let me get a little bit of water here. Give me just a second. Woo. Cool. I mean, this is something, right? I'm glad that they're trying. I don't know what they're talking about for the liquefier assembly. I'm guessing this is some sort of extruder system. Clearly, nozzle is the nozzle. But as for liquefier assembly, I have no clue. Of course, E3D has committed to putting all of this out online when it does get granted. So, very happy to see that. I am also happy, and Joe, maybe if you're still hanging out, I don't know if you are, but if you are still hanging out, have you dealt with the micro, and how do you feel about the fan? The fan is clearly thicker. It looks like maybe a 15 or a 20 mil fan, but it is considerably smaller. Are we worried at all about the fan? I am. Like, I don't like the stock fans E3Ds come with to begin with. I don't think they last anywhere near as long as they should. I don't like the screw system. I think that it's a little archaic. I understand why they did it, but yeah. Tarsman said, Grant, look at the new LTT video where they 3D printed the computer case that I knew about for a while now. Yeah, it's pretty dope, and they did it with an E3D tool changer. However, those are all V6 Hermeras. So, yeah. The fan is nice. It's a little loud. No screws, though. 5 volts? Why would they do that? Why would they do 5 volts? Yes, okay, Tarsman. Tarsman's my brother, for those that don't know. Tarsman, we could do a 3D printed computer case. We can do it. Jimmy says he thinks that's a 10 mil. I've got one of the V6 fans here. Let me see how thick the V6 fan is. Give me just a second. because that will be a curiosity as well. Standard V6 fan is 10 millimeters. That one looks like it is thicker. Find a 24 volt 20 millimeter fan. Okay, hold on. I'm pretty sure this is 24 volt. I don't know if it is, but that one is either 12 or 24 volts. It's much bigger. Okay. So I guess you can run that off of the Duet's 5-volt rail if you didn't kill your Duet's 5-volt rail like this guy did. But if you did what I did and you accidentally killed your Duet's 5-volt rail, you go get yourself a buck converter and you get it within 0.005 or so volts of 5 volts, you can feed it right into the auxiliary power rail and the printer won't know the difference. Find a 24-volt 20 millimeter fan. Yeah. I will be curious to see what happens with that. Oh, they send a sweet little 5-volt converter. Hey, now see, that's what I'm talking about, right? It's not just like a resistive converter. It's probably a little buck converter. That's what we want to see here, right? But yeah, long-term longevity of these fans was bad. Small fans is generally considered worse. So I am worried long-term what we're going to see. I do appreciate that either E3D or Michael Petch brought a banana for scale, and I do think that is absolutely hilarious to see. And I guess I should probably follow him because I did say give him the credit that he deserves. So there you go, Michael Petch. Now, Adam with V3D has been posting a lot of BTS content about it too. But yeah, I don't... Oh no, he's only I guess he's done an interview or something. I don't know, man. I don't know. I am curious cuz the fact that E3D is pumping out new nozzles for the V6, and oh, you can actually see the dual metal there with the copper inside or steel inside and just black and copper outside. Are they deprecating the V6 or not? Because this is clearly not going to work on the Revo. And this is interesting. I love that they are basically forcing the hand of industry to move over to 175. So Lulzbot, BNC or BCN Sigma, they use 3 mil. Ultimaker uses 3 mil, but Ultimaker uses their own hot ends, so I don't think Ultimaker gives a damn. But I would like to see the industry move over to 175. I know that Lulzbot does, provide 175 tool heads if people want them. However, they are still kind of rooted in that 3 mil. And as someone with kilos of 3 mil laying around, and because that printer is so loud, I can't easily use it all the time. It's just one of those problems. I love the price point of the Revo. I'm still concerned about that tiny Hemera. Joe, if you have experience, I'd love to know your opinion. But I wonder if I can find it quickly. But, oh yeah, I can. It's right here. This is the pancake stepper from the Titan Aero. Let me bring up, yeah. It's the pancake stepper for the Titan Aero, and it's thicker than this, and I had to put a bunch of stupid heat sinks on the back to keep the damn thing from overheating, because I had to run this at such high speed, or such high amperage to get it to turn a freaking Titan Aero. I hope that the Hemera doesn't have the same problem. But yeah, this is an official, E3D quality thing. The V6 isn't going away. There's like 9 gajillion hot ends out there, he says. I figured with them clearancing out the V6, because I think all V6 components are on sale, are they not? Yeah. With them clearing out a lot of the V6 stuff, my thought was that they were going to be kind of removing the V6 from the lineup, but that's good to see they're going to continue to support it. I mean, I know the nozzles, whether E3D makes them or you get generic ones, the nozzles and parts of them will continue to exist. However, if E3D is not going to be releasing any new updates for it, that might suck for those of us that don't want to buy an all-new hot end. Jimmy says, my first thought when I saw the price was that it was great, as there are several nozzles included, which is great, so I start switching a bit more. I agree. I love the fact they're including like this whole gamut of color-coded nozzles from 0.25 to 0.8, and especially because it's one-hand change, and I've been told that it can be done when it's cold. You don't need to do it when it's hot. That's even better. And the reason that I believe this is true is since the throat goes all the way up into the heatsink, if you do have plastic that tries to like seep out, it's going to get caught in that heatsink and then just push itself right back through. So this kind of solves that leakage issue that is prevalent in so many printers that run these shitty Creality hot ends. By the way, this is the Creality hot end that I'm going to destroy. We did a pick and place machine on a Creality printer for a client because they really wanted it on an Ender 3. And so I took the hot end off. I'm going to send this hot end to the moon. None with Pancake Chimera, I agree with you, but I would love a thinner tool head for the tool changer. And I think that's really why they're going with the thinner Chimera. I will be curious to see how it handles temps. I will absolutely be curious to see how it handles temps. Even further, why didn't they go with like a squirrel cage fan on the micro? I guess to kind of keep it smaller. Huh. Yeah. But yeah, the cold switch is because it's so tall, I believe. I love that I can take hot ends apart when they aren't attached to a machine. I'd love that as well. I also love that I can take them apart when they're attached to a machine with one hand. And that the whole thing, like, because to hold it properly in a Prusa, I will normally drop the hot end out. So I am holding onto the heat sink. I have a pair of pliers holding onto the heat block, and then I am using a little T-wrench to take off the nozzle. But then you got to work fast because you don't have a fan blowing over the heat sink, and the heat sink's going to heat up. This is nice because you don't have those problems. Now, I want to know how it holds up after getting the shit beaten out of it, particularly if they're going to come out with a hardened version, which of course they're going to. But where is it going to be hardened and where is it not? Because if I look at this, I say this entire throat needs to be hardened steel because you're going to be running it through, and effectively the nozzle heat break, heat block, because I believe this is the heat block. The heater itself is that cartridge. I don't believe there's any mass on it other than the ceramic. All of this is now a consumable product versus previously where it was just your nozzle that was a consumable product. So there are some different things that you got to consider that change things up. But we see 0.25. I assume this is going to be 0.1. I assume this is going to be a 1.0. That's my thought process here. I'd love to know what you guys think as well. Again, don't forget to leave a like on the stream if you are hanging out with us and watching. But yeah, I love this. And, oh yeah, if you want to support us directly, because, boy, these videos are going to start to get expensive. Do you know, hey, support us on Patreon if you want. It helps us buy some of this stuff, because I'm not cool like Joe. I don't get the opportunity to get the hot end for free just yet as a beta testing, but we hope to soon, so I'm going to have to buy one of these. So I am excited, but it is going to cost us some cash. I want to know what the price will be for the Revo Micro when it includes 4 nozzle X nozzles. My guess is that they might do like a Revo Gold. The core is brass lined. There isn't much for thermal mass, though. They cool almost as much as they heat. Interesting. That would be nice for printers to cool down faster. Not that I think that really matters all that much. I think the bed cooling down faster is more important than the hot end cooling down, because then your parts can come off faster. But that would be nice, let's say, if you don't have a UPS on your printer or an APC, whatever you call them. You don't have a printer that has print resume on it, or you have a printer that uses a belted Z without a lot of gear reduction, so it falls. If it does cool down pretty quickly, you will limit the damage that's done. Oh, hey, Michael. Thanks for hanging out. He said, thanks for mentioning my tweet in your other video. Thanks for dropping in on our little video here. I appreciate you guys coming by. But yeah, Michael, seriously, dude, if it wasn't for you dropping this knowledge all freaking day, we would not have been able to make that video. I would not have been as prepared as I was if it wasn't for you showing off all this stuff. So kudos to you for doing it. And seriously, guys, if you're not following Michael, please do, because that's, you know, pretty freaking sweet. You know, otherwise, like, we filmed that video 36 minutes after E3D launched this. And the only reason I felt comfortable going into filming that quickly is because of what the 3D printing industry provided to us. So, yeah, thanks, dude. I appreciate it. Websites like yours enable channels like mine to exist and be able to produce content as often as we do. So, it is a pretty cool job to go around and, you know, go look at 3D printing stuff in person. I hope that when my back is all taken care of, that I too can start traveling, filming videos at conventions, being able to talk to people one-on-one, especially when the world kind of gets all of its crap together and everything is happy once again. We have Mitsu Levels saying hello, how you doing? Yeah, I'm excited for this. I think that the V6 was starting to get a little tired. I think a lot of us were getting tired of the V6. When Slice Engineering is launching a bunch of stuff, apparently there's a company that's been having something very similar. Hey, Michael, if you're still here, what do you think of the Proto Print Raptor and how deadly similar the E3D REVO is? Now, I know there's quite a few differences. Primarily, the nozzle's quite a bit different, but it's hard to ignore the similarities between them. Did you know about this company before just now? Because I didn't until one of the commenters said it in our previous video. So this is kind of like an oh crap moment. That's a little weird to me. I would love your opinion if you're still hanging out here. Because yeah, that's different. It'll be very interesting if E3 does a water-cooled variant similar to this. So kudos there. I am excitedly waiting for their patents to get granted. Yeah, Disc, Nando, hey buddy. Yeah, that is grossly similar to a point where if you're proto-print right now, you're probably pretty pissed off. Proto-print pretty pissed off. Now, that's a title for a video that I'm not going to film because that's it doesn't get the moves that an E3D video will. The Hemera Revo is tempting, but hang out because the Hemera Micro, and I think Michael, where'd Michael show that off? That's Michael's main thing. I want to see, where's the Hemera picture that he posted? Or maybe it wasn't him. There are so many photos I need to go through. There. So that's what a Hemera looks like right now. They're going to be launching a Hemera Micro, and if that's not what they call it, I'm going to be pissed because it better be called a Hemera Micro. That might be a better option, but Nando, you weren't here when I mentioned it earlier, or maybe you were and you didn't comment. I am worried because this is their previous micro stepper motor. This is from my Titan Aero, and without these stupid heat sinks on the back, the damn thing would overheat constantly. Of course, their goal is to make it thinner. It'd be great on a tool changer, but will it stand up to high-speed 3D printing, high-torque applications? I don't know, and that worries me a little bit. I'd love to get my hands on it, so if you guys have access to Sanjay or anybody from E3D better than I do, if you don't mind, you know, getting us in to talk to them, I would love to become part of the beta program so we can make badass videos just like this. Michael Petch says, I'd seen it before, I'd seen it for sure, but agree with you about waiting to see the details on the IP when published. Yeah. The IP, I mean, they're looking at clearly the nozzle, which makes sense, right? The nozzle here is absolutely revolutionary. We've never seen something like this before. I recognize that Raptor has something similar, but it's not threaded. I do want to know how Raptor holds their heat break in, because it doesn't look like I'm going to like the way they do it, because it looks like it's going to be done with some sort of grub screw or something like that. And then they've got their liquefier assembly, which I assume is some sort of extruder system. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, a micro, assuming the micro is good, and right, that is making a very, very gross assumption here. Assuming it's good, I think that's gonna kind of kick out some of the other extruder platforms on the market, because I know a lot of people will use a Bond Tech extruder on a direct drive setup. I mean, similar to what Prusa does. I use a Titan Aero right now on my 2 custom printers that utilize E3D tool heads. But yeah, having lighter weight is important, but you better be able to cool that lighter weight without it becoming a problem. Flying Goat, you can't post links on YouTube live streams. I don't know why, but apparently there's a video for it, so I'm gonna look for it. So give me just a second. Let's see what happens. This is not... Well, that sucks. Vaughn says, hi all the way from South Africa. Thanks for the awesome channel. Love your content. Thank you for your support. I appreciate you guys supporting us in what we do. I can let you know all of my latest prints I've posted. We're done with the micro. Cool. Voron uses pancake steppers for the direct drives, right? Then why shouldn't E3D be able to use a slim stepper motor? Type only protoprint 3DP. Okay, let's find it. I would say, Flying Goat, if you know my Discord, you can directly reach out to me. But it does not appear that you know my Discord. What video am I looking for? Is that what I'm looking for? Protoprint 3DP. Excuse me. My bad. Okay, let's take a look at this real quick. I'm going to mute this because it just doesn't matter. Get through the ads like we do. Let's see how you assemble yourself. Are you going to show me how to... Oh, okay. Got it. The nozzle screws into the heat block. These 3 screws screw into the heat sink, and that's what holds the heat break in place. There you go. You can't, Flying Goat, you actually can't post links in YouTube live streams. Don't ask me why. Actually, I know exactly why not. So trolls can't post links to adult sites when we're working. Jimmy, I've tried pancakes before, but generally you got to run them at such high torque levels that you overheat them. Vorons, when you're running ABS, you can run pancakes all day because ABS is very, very easy to extrude. It is not very viscous. ABS is like 1.04, 1.06 grams per cubic centimeter. PLA is 1.24. PETG is 1.27. So considerably different heats, but I was trying to search for dis with, but never mind, already solved. Yeah. That's an interesting way. So, okay, looking at these two, I think there's enough difference between them that we probably don't have to worry about it. But whose system do I like better? Do I like this? Or do I like this? I've been an avid E3D guy for years, so I feel like I kind of have to give the nod to E3D simply because I like them. But I gotta get both in hand. That would be a really, really cool video. That would be, I mean, that would just be a really fun video, I think. But I could be wrong. Yeah. I'll reach out to Protoprint, see if I can get a Raptor. So I can start doing some testing on it, because that would be kind of interesting to compare the two, especially a Raptor with the water on it, because the water is that'd be a little bit fun. What do you guys think? I like this mounting system. I like the spring. I really like the spring, actually. I think the spring is a really interesting way to handle dealing with the fact that people are not going to be able to put things in straight perfectly every single time, and to give it some strain relief if it hits something. You can bend the heat break without damaging things too badly. Did that say if it will have hardened steel at launch? No. E3D does not talk about having a hardened steel system at launch. However, and Michael showed it off, E3D is bringing out an all-new hardened nozzle for the V6 platform, which they're calling the Obsidian. And from what we can tell, it is a hardened steel inner with a copper outer that enables you to have good thermals, but also print in high temp without having too many issues. So I would guess that this is going to find its way over into the Revo platform, and I hope that Revo is short for revolution or revolutionary, because if it's not, then I'm just going to continue to make Devo jokes about it because I can, because it's funny that way. Another water break. Give me just a second. Okay. I like this, but the biggest thing that worries. There is a 3D. Oh yeah, there is a 3D company, isn't there? I forget what they do. Okay. Oh, that's right. They make the desktop filament machines. That's right. There is. Well, now I need... Oh, that's right. Who has one of their machines now? It's CNC Kitchen, I think, has one of their machines. Yeah. I would ask for one of these just so I can make Devo jokes the entire time and wear a Devo hat as a joke, because I'm cheeky and I like to do those things. Yep. Yeah. This is what worries me the most, and I think that anyone looking at this would be worried too. The connectors are the same. I hope that they're keyed differently so there's no way to accidentally plug a heater into a thermistor. But if the connectors are the same damn connectors, that is not good. Because people are going to do this the wrong way and end up blowing up thermistors, not providing enough heat to their printers because thermistor voltage, which is not voltage at all, into a heater is not going to do a damn thing but break the thermistor. And I've never liked these connectors in general. Normally, we just cut them off and we hard solder or we use a different style connector. I find that over time, the connector gets wiggly and you end up with different measurements. ESA. What's ESA mean? There's like a 30-second delay between what I say and what you guys hear. So I don't entirely remember what I was talking about 30 seconds ago. I wish I found a place to recycle my failed prints to a new spool. That wasn't my doing, and like $1,000. I mean, there is the Philistruder. We have one. They're very slow. They're very loud, but they do work. But you will have to add virgin material in because, like most plastics, PLA and PETG do work harden over time. So it won't extrude to be as good as virgin material. So you have to mix in some virgin material. So be careful about that. I want to find a place that will recycle my failed prints and support material and all that without having to drive 50 miles, which I have to right now, because my local recycling centers don't know what 3D printing is and are unwilling to learn it. I know that you can send your failed prints back to IC3D if you want, but there's cost involved in that. Joe, thank you. Take care, dude. Thanks for coming on and hanging out. I appreciate your support, buddy. We will see you in a bit. The European Space Agency, they have a 3DVO system, and I saw one at DLR, King of German NASA once. And that's no surprise if you are playing on the field of, well, if it's in space, I don't know if 3D EVO's in space, I doubt that it is, but if you are playing in the aerospace industry, making your own polymers and copolymers where you're mixing different things together is incredibly valuable because it enables you to build filament with whatever formula that you want. Whether that's a Ultem and Peak mixture, whether that's a specific carbon fiber peak. Oh, there's something in my eye. I am so sorry. Got like a hair in my eye, and that's what happens when your hair is as long as mine. I want to cut my hair, but I need my back to be fixed. Then we're going to do a live stream where we shave my head for charity. Because apparently I'm doing things like this now. Then yeah, and by the way, if you guys are here and you're not subscribed, please do get subscribed. We are coming up fast on the 2,000 subscriber mark, and we are looking to start getting sponsors to assist us in making the videos, supply us with printers, materials, and all of that, so we can make more awesome content for you guys. So your subscribes would be greatly appreciated, as well as likes and comments and support and all of that. The things you should do for the creators that you like, especially ones that are going to come and talk for well over an hour about a hot end system. So you can produce about 400 grams an hour. This is fresh in my mind because I spoke with them yesterday. Hey, that's awesome. 400 grams an hour of what material? Different materials will, like, I know on my Philistruder, we can do a kilo of PETG in like 3 hours, 4 hours. But a kilo of PLA will take basically overnight because it is so much more viscous. I think it has a lot to do with the viscosity of the material, but I've seen CNC Kitchen's videos about the 3D EVO, and I do like it, or 3D EVO. I don't know how they say it. But I do really like their filament maker system because that, to me, is kind of where a lot of us need to move to work on the green initiative in this community, right? We all have a lot of waste, more than we care to talk about. And don't even get me started on the waste involved with powder-based 3D printing. And I'm looking at you, SLS Nylon, and you, DMLS, LBF, and all the other metal-based 3D printing that is not filament-based. There is so much waste in this industry, yet we call ourselves additive, and we turn our noses up to the subtractive manufacturing community out there because, oh, they're not cool enough because they have so much waste. But guess what? We're not much better in some circumstances. And at least their waste can be reused. What are we doing with our waste? Putting it in landfills. And that's not cool. Thoughts on the materialized Bluecint polyamide. Let me refresh myself on it. Give me just a second. I think, if it is what I'm thinking of, this is awesome. Yeah, the 100% reusable powder. Yeah, okay. Is it truly 100%? That's the first thing I ask myself is it 100%? Mitsu Level says, a 5-gallon bucket of failed prints supports my crappy first spool I ever bought. Be careful with failures and that kind of thing. Make sure there's no extra garbage or anything like that. If you are going to grind it up to make new filament, make sure that you wash, clean, and dry it first. Because otherwise bits of dirt, dust, debris, hair will end up in your filament and it's going to just clog things up. You effectively need to have a clean room, or at least a cleaner environment than normal to make it function. But the Bluecint, I get that it's made with 100% reused powder, but that doesn't really solve the problem. You're still wasting powder. I know on, what is it, the Fuse 1, you can only reuse like 40% of the powder. I know on some of the larger machines like P110, P480, EOS machines, you can reuse like 60, 70, 80%. And technically you can reuse it all. But for those that don't know, the reason that you end up throwing away some of the powder and powder-based printers is when the laser strikes the material, whether it's metal or nylon, it radiates some of that heat into the surrounding powder. That surrounding powder gets damaged, and there's really no way around this. And so what happens is that when you are taking out your builds, you refresh your powder with fresh material, and at the same time, you take out some of that used material. Now, if you are very, very good at putting your prints together and meshing them, playing your 3D Tetris, if you will, you end up basically throwing out all the excess that's in the bed. Now, Materialize saying, we can remanufacture this, recycle it, and put it back into being utilized. Yeah, orange peel is kind of the big issue involved in that. But I want to see how this plays out. I don't own an SLS machine. If someone would like to provide us with one, I'd be more than happy to. I actually have a whole room dedicated to powder 3D printing because many moons ago, back when we were still big in full color, we had a five Z Corp 650s or Prodet 660 Pros, whatever you want to call them, operation running full color. And for a small business like ours, that was a lot of printers. We worked with the likes of the Smithsonian, Snoop Dogg, Leica, Steve Aoki, Anthony Anderson, Lawrence Fishburne. We worked with a lot of really awesome people in the industry to produce, full color models of them. But powder printing is a whole different animal. And for those that don't know about it, it's generally out of the reach of your standard consumer. So, don't worry about it. I do like that that they're talking about the CO2 released. I want to know what, do we see? Okay, so they're saying now the 2.35 kilos, that's because of the remelt process. I dig it. If I had an SLS printer, I would likely look at moving over to this. I would be curious to see how it prices out compared to fresh powder, because if fresh powder is cheaper, I'm sorry, I'm probably just going to buy that. Or if it's roughly the same price, but yeah. I know that companies like E3D are messing around with SLS. I mean, you kind of have to when you're in this industry. We want to get SLS, but there's really not a great, affordable quality SLS machine. There's, the Sinterit Lisa Pro. There's Sinterit. Right? I forget. There's a few small, and they all have, Sinter-based names. But there are, Sintratech is the other one I'm thinking of. There are some, consumer grade SLS machines out there, but their build volumes are abysmally tiny. And at that point, I might as well just go get a dual extruder FDM printer and use soluble supports in a chamber-based system. So, personal opinion, I would love to test them out, though, considering we have the ability to do it. We have a room designed for powder printing. But yeah, I would like to see filament regrinding and remanufacturing become a thing, but similar to how water-washable resin created such a problem in the resin 3D printer industry because people thought, oh, I can wash it in my sink. You cannot wash resin in your sink because, I don't have my editor here, but resin is toxic. Damn it, and it will poison your waterways. Don't do that. But that same way that people think that some people think that water-washable resin is safe to go down the drain. People might try to mix polymers in this that have no desire to be mixed. PETG and basically anything else. Polypropylene and basically anything else. Nylon and basically anything else. Michael saying the Formlabs Fuse 1. The Fuse 1 is 40 Gs all in. The printer itself is what? 20, 30, right? And yes, it does kind of solve that mark, but if I'm going to spend 40, 60 Gs in that range, or 40 grand basically, yeah, complete setups from 31, you're going to basically end up being in 40 grand with the room and all of that. That's a tough business case for me as a small business owner to make. I can spend 40 grand on a lot more stuff that, yes, while SLS is able to get me higher detail than FDM, I can get a resin printer that size, work with a chemical engineer to engineer my own specific resin that will meet PA12 standards for strength. And that, to me, is an overall better move because the printers themselves are cheaper. Now, the nice thing about a Fuse 1 complete setup is that you really only need one depowdering station, one mixer, assuming you're not running this on a production level. If you're running on a production level, one mixer and depowdering per printer, right? The desktop SLS is pretty niche. It absolutely is, because people like me are the only ones that really want it, because I want to be able to bridge that gap of offering SLS prints to people, doing it in-house, not having to outsource it, because my goal is to not have to outsource this, right? If we don't have to outsource it, we end up being able to provide better value to our consumers and our clients because we can do it at a better price, or from a business standpoint, I make more margin. But then two, I also have quality control in-house. And because I want a freaking laser, damn it, it'd be fun. And this is a Yttrium fiber laser, if I am saying that correctly, which is funny because they really didn't need to use a fiber laser for this. Like, it wasn't necessary, but they still did it. And I will say, to Formlabs' credit, Preform is probably one of the best closed source slicer softwares that I've ever used. But yeah, see, produce fully functional parts at a 30% powder refresh rate, meaning you can print with up to 70% recycled powder. Up to. Everybody uses this, right? Sure, you can print with 70% recycled powder, but what is your surface finish going to look like? I digress. This is about E3D. This isn't about my rants regarding SLS. But I've been in this industry for over a decade, so it's something that's near and dear to my heart, especially the consumer-based industry, because I started out as a consumer in the industry, and I still buy a lot of consumer-grade 3D printers for the YouTube channel, for myself. The girlfriend buys them and all of that. So, yeah, this is pretty cool. Michael, thank you for hanging out with us. He said, good luck with the channel. Great to have more people with your approach in the 3DP and AM world. If you ever want to talk, dude, please hit me up. Followed you on Twitter and all of that. I'd love to talk more about the industry. And if you like to talk about industry, whether you're Michael Petch, the editor-in-chief of 3D printing industry, or you are an average Joe from the street, you guys are absolutely, and I highly recommend you do, email us, tweet at us. I don't care. I love talking to people in this industry. It's the one thing that I do ostensibly very well is talk. If you all haven't noticed, we put out like tons of videos and all of that. But yeah, I want to see growth in this industry, and I think to do that, we have to go through those questions. I put out an email to Intomsys today. I want to get a FunMat HT to play with. I want to show off high-temp 3D printing, that it doesn't have to be crazy expensive. The FunMat HT, I believe you can get them as low as like $5 grand or $6 grand. And to do that kind of 3D printing is amazing. Now, we have capabilities to do PEEK, PEI, Ultem, PEC, and other materials here in the shop, but not at that price point. And I think if you're a small business owner that wants to play in the aerospace industry, that kind of printer is valuable. And I think as a consumer, seeing those kind of printers and understanding how they work, why they work, what they do, will help you either A, decide you want to build one yourself, or two, motivate you to going down a different career path than maybe you were looking at previously. We need more people in the STEM field. And yeah, I think there's a lot of value to it. But yeah, I am highly, highly excited about the Rapid Change Revo that is from E3D. I am crazy excited to see what comes out of it. As always, I want to know what you guys think. Please continue to comment. I will be hanging out here for a little bit more. I got to get a little bit more water in me because it is a little spicy here in Florida. It's 30 C outside, so inside it ain't much colder. Go away, Windows. Nobody asked you. Hush. Thank you. I am curious to see. I want to get the Proto Print Raptors side by side to the E3D Revo, and maybe we can utilize Prince filament made on a 3Devo just to bring this bad girl full circle. But to do that, I need you guys to support it. Lightspeed, you're a little late to the party. I didn't until the last the last video that we did, the E3D Revo video. Somebody commented saying, yeah, have you heard about the Proto Print 3D Raptor? I'm like, no, I haven't heard about it. Joe Spanier was in here. He hadn't heard about it either. A lot of us had just seen this for the first time too. There is a lot of similarity, but I think there's a lot of difference. We can see here, and like we watched this earlier, but The Raptor uses 3 screws going up into the heat sink and utilizes a V6 nozzle style with a smooth heat break. I do prefer what E3D is doing to what the Raptor is doing, but yeah, if I was Proto Print, I might feel a little salty right now. It is crazy similar, and even I'm like, well, shit, that's kind of rough. Now, with that being said, I think the Raptor looked at copying a lot of the V6 and adding in some things from Slice, right? Having the screws go straight up from the hot block into the heat sink, and they just utilized a modified E3D V6 style nozzle. So it looks very similar. I think if E3D comes out with a water-cooled variant that is like this, I'm gonna be like, excuse me? But I think there's enough room to play. I mean, even E3D themselves have said that their cold side, the entire cold side of the printer, is going to be open source, which, you know, it kind of has been since this was all on the V6 previously. So they're similar, but because I didn't know about the Raptor, it was something that was never on my purview. Now, I do look at this and say, you know what? I think you're getting a lot better value out of the Revo, but I think the Raptor has a hardened nozzle, so we'll have to see what happens there. But we go to a PT100, 24 volt, 500C. You're at 162 US dollars. You're going to be about 120, but of course that's for a non-all metal. Well, we should compare them, 300C side by side. You know, so the Revo's cheaper. It comes with more. It comes with a full set of nozzles, which is pretty cool. The Raptor can use volcano nozzles. No, it cannot. The Raptor uses its own, uses its own proprietary nozzles, I think. Yes. Yep, you cannot use it. Because they have their own custom inserts. So you gotta buy their nozzles. So let's look at their nozzles. That's a universal. Okay, spare Raptor nozzles, $33. So there you go. 33 bucks for one of those. But yeah, so I don't think so either. It does not appear that they can. Yeah, I mean, this idea is cool, but I kind of like the Revo style better personally. I like that it's all integrated all the way up through. I like that it's held in with threads here. And I like, stupidly enough, I really like the spring. The spring to me gives you a little bit of wiggle room for things not being perfectly aligned, which is pretty cool. The heat break is connected to the nozzle, correct? Yes, yeah, the heat break is connected into the nozzle. Yeah, so that's a singular component. It is nice that you can do one-handed changes with this too, and yeah, these are also cold. So these are also cold changes. So is the Revo. I don't know. I think had I seen this before we did our E3D video, I think that video might have gone a little bit different. I would have definitely had this in there. So, but I want to get my hands on both to compare them side by side before I really start pointing fingers. I don't think E3D copied them deliberately. I mean, there is clearly some design choices that are taken. You know, the ceramic heater. But ceramic heaters in a cylindrical shape are nothing new, right? It's nothing new at all. Yeah, Flying Goat says on the Raptor, it is not a structural part as it is on the E3D system. And that is true. So the heat break can be thinner. I personally, this is my personal thought, take it with a grain of salt. If you are so worried about a little bit of extra material in your heat break, you are running your printer so close to problems that you need to look at other issues, right? So if you are having issues with heat creep, you need to look at a better cooling solution, not look at how to make things lighter and thinner. I like the thicker approach because it means it's going to last longer. Right? E3D is using bimetal. Joe Spanier confirmed that with us. This is not all made of brass. the heat break here is made out of a different material, whether it's aluminum, steel, titanium, I don't know. We're going to have to wait till they give us more information about it. But to me, E3D's been around a long time. They've got a massive community here. And it's like the same way if Prusa released a printer that sucked. They literally can't. Prusa's under a lot of stress to release a printer that does really, really well, because if they don't, they're gonna get hurt, right? They're gonna get hurt. It's possible that Raptor copied beta units. I don't know. I am not gonna speculate here. I believe these are two totally different systems. Myself and Joe Spanier, both of us are professionals in this industry, have never heard of protoprint before. Let's see. Do they have a... Where are they located? CZ. .cz. Where is this? No, It is Czech Republic. Well, that's funny. Okay, so they're based in the Czech Republic, where Prusa is. No, CZ is the Czech Republic. CN is China. I could have just searched plus 420 as well. Let's see. Also, nice. Just to verify, plus 420 country code is the Czech Republic. So they're at the same place that Prusa is, which is interesting. But, you know, I think the pedigree of E3D gives them a lot of value. I think it is going to hurt Protoprint. I had never heard of the Raptor previously, but I do want to compare these together. So if you guys want to see that video, please go over to our Patreon, patreon.com/3D Musketeers. Links are in the description of the video and all of that, to support us directly, because that video is going to cost me like $300 or $400 more. Lightspeed says maybe it's Joe Prusa's neighbor. Maybe, but probably not. Joe Prusa is one of those guys that, I don't know if he's got a lot of neighbors. He's a good guy, but I feel like he's the kind of person that, you know, that just buys his neighbors because he can. It's fun. Yeah. I like this, guys. I like the Revo. I think the Revo's awesome. I'm curious to play around with the Raptor, but I gotta get going. I've got meetings coming up here in just a few minutes, so thank you all so much for hanging out. Again, if you want to support us directly, patreon.com/3D Musketeers. We now finally have a predecessor to the E3D V6, and I could not be happier. So, if you like it, leave a like on the video. If you like E3D, let us know in those comments. And how do you feel about this Raptor versus Revo? I'm curious to know. I will see you all in the next video. Stay safe out there. Don't forget to call your loved ones. And as always, keep making awesome. And Jimmy, you're a patron. I released the uncensored and extended cut in Patreon right before the video went live on YouTube. So go check that out if you want to see all the cold rolls that did not make it into the final video. I will see you guys later. Stay safe. Don't forget to call your loved ones. All that jazz. We'll finish out with some Crab Rave. Keep making awesome.